Hey guys, so today I want to show you a single name stock that we like here from a trading and potentially even an investing perspective. But just keep in mind, almost at least as important, I should say, as showing you this trade setup is showing you our process, which is a process that is not only repeatable, but also very importantly one that allows us to have to define parameters where to get in, where to get out on the profit side, and also where to determine where we are wrong. So the stock we're going to look at is a stock that you could arguably also throw into the infrastructure trade sort of bucket, and it is US Steel. The ticker symbol is X. So let's go over to the chart. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of different charts to give us some perspective. So first of all, what we always like to do when we look at an individual stock is we like to make sure we understand where its sector or index or group ETF in the equities universe. It's a bit different in different asset classes, how that looks. And so this is the XME. This is an ETF that US Steel, again, ticker symbol X, is a part of. And I have a very simple 200-day moving average on here, which we will look at more in a minute. But if you just draw some simple lines, you can see that for the most part, this ETF, again, this is the ETF that the stock is a part of, is coming into a lot of overhead resistance from its 200-day moving average. Again, very simple analysis to just overhead resistance. It's rallied very, very strongly the past few weeks. So there's a case to be made that this might be due for a bit of a pause. But when I looked at this chart, what I always like to do when I look at an ETF, I like to look at its constituents. And so what I noticed is that US Steel, in relative terms versus the XME, so versus that ETF it is a part of, looks a lot better than the ETF itself. In fact, this is what it looks like. And you can see that sort of relative strength that US Steel is giving us versus the index itself. And you can see that 200-day moving average, a pretty good reference point. When we broke through it from a resistance perspective, it became support. When you break below it from a support perspective, it becomes resistance. And we're now in one of those potentially direction-changing situations where we could see US Steel from a relative strength perspective continue to move to the upside. If we now move to the actual chart of the individual stock, this is what it looks like. And again, I'm using a very simple 200-day moving average, not to make it overly simple, but to kind of keep it simple so that we can focus on what's important, which in this case is the price action. And you can see, just like on the chart before, the actual chart of US Steel, we have support until it breaks, then you have resistance until it breaks and it becomes support, and so on and so forth. And so we are once again at a point where you can see the 200-day offered as technical resistance back in December, and we are now trying, and the operative word is trying, to break above there. If we can string together a successful weekly close above this moving average, I would think the stock can rise towards $14, which would be a pretty good move. And of course, if it meaningfully breaks below the 200-day moving average again on a weekly closing basis, I would offer that would be a stop loss. So, I wanted to show you guys again our process of how we use groups and sectors and ultimately narrow down to a trade on an individual security or an individual commodity or a currency based on that type of approach. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you have any questions or comments, give us a comment down below, thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.